an advance party of the Spanish army, which consisted of only like 300 Spaniards and then a number of Indian allies. They built a galley on this lake in order to begin to try and conquer the Itza on the southern shore, who ruins still exist at a place called Payasal. And the island town of Flores was an island dedicated to temples, and this is where human sacrifices occurred and that kind of thing. The Spaniards then built their galley and then sailed across the lake. They were camped on the western edge of the lake as well, and went towards the Itza town, village. And they were met by about 2,000 Itza warriors in dugout canoes, which must have just been an incredible sight. The dugout canoes that I've seen, I'm not sure how accurate a representation of the canoes they had in those days these modern ones are, but they don't look very big. They look like they can carry maybe 4 or 5 people. So for easy math, if they carried 4 people, then there would have, and there were 2,000 people, then there would have been 500 canoes filled with warriors. These warriors were very elaborately costumed in feathers and skins and that kind of stuff. It must have been just a truly spectacular sight. They surrounded the Spaniards, and the Spaniards, they had what were called harquebuses, which were an early version of rifles, basically. The Itza then began to shower them with volleys of arrows. One of the Spaniards began firing, the firing became general, and they then went on to basically sack the town. The civilian population was put into such fright by this slaughter that they tried to swim across the lake to the northern edge of the Lago Petén-Itza. And the account says, that I've read, says that the water became so thick with terrified people and civilians that a lot of lives were lost in the ensuing chaos. Once the town was sacked, the Spaniards went on to the island where several of the priests had been sacrificed at the temples, and they were occupied for an entire day in smashing idols, which the Spaniards were very good at, basically from about 9:30 in the morning till 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And there's a church on the site of the previous Mayan temple, and there are a few fragments of stelae there that you can still see in the central square. That was the account of the last, in thumbnail sketch in it, of the last independent Maya kingdom. And the thing that's really amazing about reading this account is the amount of cultural destruction that occurred as a result of this. The Maya had a very developed system of creating books out of either treated deer skins or pounded bark paper. And there were entire libraries of these books. And of that entire library of cultural knowledge, only 3 have survived, as far as is known. So the cultural destruction was just amazing. And it's unfortunate because archaeologists, through a multidisciplinary approach, are beginning to piece together more of what life must have been like. And in kind of a small and modest way, I think this is kind of a means of exploring history and archaeology as well, by going out and sort of participating in what life must have been like. I mean, what did the Indians see when they rode out on this shore? It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And with the exception of a few villages, much of the shoreline remains untouched, and it must have looked very similar, if not identical, to how it looked close to 500 years ago. I was sitting up on top of our hotel roof the other night, and I heard some singing and some dancing just kind of wafting across the water, and I was trying to imagine what that must have been like. To hear the drums, which the Mayas used, they're made out of tortoise shells hit with deer antlers, and I'm trying to imagine exactly what that sound must have sounded like. They also played flutes, and towards the end of pre-Columbian history, they also had small bells that they used as well. But it must have been an amazing place. It must have been an amazing place, and it would be interesting to try and visualize a little bit more of what life was like here before, or even during and after the Spanish conquest of the last independent Maya kingdom in Central America.